All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Rakugo, Season 2, Episode 6. All right, Yakumo has collapsed on stage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is seeing things, and he is in a hallway of
candles with
Sukeroku choking him out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to make an awful joke here, but
this is a really sad place for our boy Bon.
Yep.
He's no longer a boy, but like I can still see the scared child in him.
Yeah, in a lot of ways he still isn't that. Aren't we all? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
our new family is going to have to deal with this.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what will be the first immediate kind of reaction response from them.
Yep.
Yakumo is a character where he's got some complex motivations, and I'm just curious to see once he because he probably will wake up from this, because at the very least he's not going to die here.
Right. That'd make for a very interesting opening, for the rest of the show, unless they changed it, which probably not.
I mean,
they could.
We'll see.
Yeah, they certainly changed it last episode. That was a nice little surprise there.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, then be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. Oh my gosh, we have the Rakugo performance of Yotaro's career. That was amazing.
That was wonderful.
That was incredible. I was so pulled into the story, the acting, the whole thing.
And the fact that he was doing this after Yakumo got taken to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That shot of him and Konatsu just running in separate directions, just being like, okay. And,
what's so cool about that is that this was a moment where she was the one to initially ask Yotaro, hey, you're going, right?
Yeah.
And then he had this moment where you could see Yakumo was like you have to do this.
Yeah.
Now, this actually contradicts my entire prediction for what happened here.
Really?
Because my prediction was that Yakumo, he wanted this to happen so that Rakugo could die.
Oh, yeah.
That is not what was on his face here.
Yeah, because
if anything, maybe he wanted to create some big moment in the story of, this whole journey of his and Yotaro's and Rakugo itself. But in some ways, maybe that would make him, if anything, like a martyr for Rakugo or something. Well, yeah. He would, if anything, boost it.
Right. He wants to die, but the thing is that it's okay, Yakumo. You're not Rakugo. You're not that's
the big lesson that everyone will needs to learn, essentially, is that Yotaro just kind of stumbled into it naturally.
Yep.
The thing of that Rakugo doesn't need any one of you, because Rakugo is storytelling.
Yep.
It is something that is so much grander and transcends that if anything, as things die, people, theaters, mediums of the storytelling venue, now it's becoming more of a thing where it's televised and on the radio and recorded under different means.
Yeah, I love how they showed that, it's and this was a while ago, but that, there's a microphone in front now. It's not just the person there, just talking, right?
Right. There was a lot to that where, if anything, it felt like Yakumo, I assume he was conscious there, and he was just unable to speak because of the myocardial infraction, which I assume is just some kind of heart attack, like a mild form of a heart attack, basically. Because the cardial part.
Right.
But okay, so I want to reframe a couple of my assumptions then about Yakumo, because then he wants the best for Yotaro.
He really does.
He doesn't necessarily want the best for Rakugo, but I don't think he wants Rakugo to die.
Well, and that totally fits too, because just from a storytelling perspective, if there wasn't some conflict within Yakumo, there wouldn't be much of a story here, right?
Yeah, so
there has to be something.
What is
there.
the contradicting force, though, that goes against certain selfish desires that he has?
Well, I think it's the fact that he wants to take care of Yotaro.
He has a family.
Right, he has a family.
Yeah.
Even if some of them don't feel like family to him, or he doesn't want to let them be family to him.
But
they're still family. They're still family, and yet he wants to die.
So when he wakes up, he's like, haven't let go yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a couple meanings within that I think are a little obvious, but I want to know if there's any others that you see here. Mm-hmm. The main one is that he hasn't let go, so he's still holding on to life.
Right, and it's that decision, that thing where he wasn't sure, really, right. and so that conflict is being directly addressed here.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, all of them, they haven't let go of him yet.
Yes.
Their desire, Absolutely. Will, effort, energy, and all that brought him back.
Uh-huh.
So they overrode a little bit of his choice in that regard, and that's a good thing in this case here. The other thing I think maybe might be seen with that is that there's maybe some aspect of his own emotional state.
Yes. Yep.
That hasn't let go fully yet.
Yes, and that's and in a lot of ways it's okay. Of course, right? Because that's been obvious since season 1. Right. So in this situation where he's saying I haven't let go yet, there's the more immediate things of I haven't let go of life and my family, and they haven't let go of me and all that stuff. And then I haven't let go. The fact that this happened, now granted he's getting old and it's a health thing and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
But your outlook does determine your outcome in a lot of cases, and your perspective on things, like your mental health affects your physical health. That's how it works, right?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So the idea that I haven't let go, and maybe that's why this happened, right? I haven't let go of Sukeroku. I'm still living in the past. I'm not acknowledging and appreciating what an amazing thing I have here in the present. Yeah.
I love how Yota looked when he said, "Sis, I'm staying." Because when he pointed out there and it zoomed out and it showed him on the
he's so terrified.
He says, "I gotta do Rakugo."
Yeah.
Like
the show must go on. It's
Just the idea that he's like, I have to do this, and I love how she's like, yes, and you're the only one who can do Rakugo. Wait, who said this actually? When I'm done, I'll be right there. Hold on. Who said...
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure this was Kanatsu. He says, look after Master. You're the only one who can. And then she says...
And you're the only one who can do
Rakugo there.
Yeah. I'm counting on you. And then they both just...
It's been so cool to watch them in little time skips and little jumps of time become more and more of a couple. But really become, I would say, in a lot of ways, the family that the previous generation of characters never really were.
Yes, because
they were leaning on each other equally here. Now, there was this aspect of Bon and
Sukeroku.
That there was not an equal leaning on each other. In fact, it wasn't really that way even when Bon came back.
Right, and that was also showcased with Miyokichi, both with Miyokichi and Sukeroku, and with Miyokichi and Bon. And this is I feel like if this were like a shonen or something like that, this would be something where they essentially just fist bump and then both power up and do something awesome. This is the equivalent of that, but it's with a wholesome family drama situation.
Yeah, I love Yotaro as a character so much, but it's moments like these where he's working with Kanatsu so effectively that I'm like, boy, look how much you've grown. Look at this. This is so fantastic. And look how much Kanatsu has grown as well.
Yeah.
Just that she's able to do this.
So the amount that she's been able to forgive Yakumo, even if she hasn't completely.
Right.
To where
He absolutely kills it in this performance.
He really does.
And now I actually feel like we've never seen Inokori in full.
Yeah, I feel like they specifically kept the ending a secret.
Well, no, the ending lead up we have seen before. The very, very end, I don't think we've seen before. Because there's a bunch of things in the lead up where we've heard him practice that, and then...
but the idea that at the end it was a con, like...
I don't know, I think maybe we've heard some parts of the very end too, but it felt like there was a point where Hisan is watching in the background, and he starts to, like, freak out. And it almost felt like he was importing a little bit... Like, maybe it's just because the story is so perfectly describing in some ways, like, an aspect of maybe who he used to be, who Yotaro used to be, just being a thief or a con man, or, I don't know, he wasn't a con man, really.
He was low-level Yakuza.
He was low-level Yakuza.
Yeah.
But there's a part where Hisan looks like he's just so impressed or surprised that the story is taking that turn.
Right. So I think what it is
What do you think it is?
It's because Hisan's a story guy. Like, it's a similar situation to, like, when we're watching something and the episode just so completely blows us away that we're like, so, like, we're there, right?
Oh,
and
sure.
Because I feel like the more of a story person you are, or the more of a fan of something you are, the more appreciative of the thing you are, right? You know, well, I mean, of course, that's the more you tend to freak out when something's really good, right? Because even if you're constantly immersed in it, so that it becomes very like maybe your standards are set higher or whatever, or you're not as easily impressed. When you are impressed, it is something that, like, fundamentally
I think this was him also I think you're right. I think this was also him, though, making that discovery that he mentions later about how he didn't import himself into the character.
Yeah.
But this is actually something that I kind of checked myself on when I was watching this. I was about to make mention at this part here, once he's already kind of working to pay off the debt, quote unquote, working to pay off the debt, and becomes basically like a fixture part of the town in this area. You know, it's just he's very helpful in this regard. The energy that he was bringing into this character, I felt, was actually Yotaro. Like, this would be how Yotaro would do things if he was that character. And yet, I didn't say it because there was this part in me that was like, but wait, I am noticing, like, these little expressions and these little, like, intonations that he's doing where this isn't Yotaro.
Right. With a particular character he might be, but then with, like, the whole performance.
Story and the performance, it's almost as if this is something that he's never really done. And then it kept going, and it just got more and more engaging and enjoyable. I think it was this part here where
when he talked about the crimes and stuff.
Talking about the crimes and stuff, that Hisan literally looks like he's freaking out. Like he's having like he's in shock.
Well, I feel like it's the thing where he's on the edge of his seat. He's like, oh my god, this is it, you know, like because one of the things that I wonder about Rakugo and this whole setup is that because they're performing classics, right? It's not like the main objective is to do your own original work. It's it's to do a performance of something that everyone knows, right? Yeah. Why do people go to see that, right? Because not sure. And that's a rhetorical question, because I know why people go to see that, but it's not for the same reasons that someone might go to something that they haven't seen before. Because like if someone's going to something they haven't seen before, then it totally makes sense, right? They're looking for a new experience. But when they're looking for something where it's like, no, this is a classic, right? Yeah. I'm essentially wanting to watch like The Lion King for, you know, like the 20th time, right? Except it's, you know, it's this other thing,
it's
right?
Through the lens of another person. In some ways, it's rather funny about this, and I don't want to take this in an ego, Inokori-centric way. But it's a lot like people watching reactions, actually.
Sure.
You go back to watch that classic anime that you've seen 17 times,
and then
but you want to see how someone else sees it
for the first time.
For the first time.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's something that's probably the case: is that Yotaro does the same performance multiple times. Like,
sure,
he doesn't just do one performance. He's like, okay, now I can never do that performance again.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
But he might learn things. He might grow from things within that, and then he might also change up a little bit of his own style with regards to how he tells it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he only does that specifically for the ones where people are like, oh my gosh, this one is in high demand. Please do it the exact same way. I have to show my friends your performance of Inokori or something. Right.
It's probably in the same way that, like, if you have people performing a play, they don't just do the one thing of the play, right? They keep doing it
40 times.
Right. This is a horrible comparison, I feel like. But I feel like it's like if you get that D&D character where you're like, I love this D&D character, I would play this D&D character in any campaign I possibly could.
Right.
It would be essentially the equivalent of just being like, okay, I played that character in one campaign. All right, cool. Now I'm completely wiping the slate clean. I'm taking that character into a completely different campaign and starting from ground zero with the character and see how they grow and see what happens and all that stuff. Like, Yeah,
I do that with campaigns. I'm like, all right, I got a new cast of people. I'm like, all right,
do it. Yeah,
come in here. You all will now experience this a whole new way.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I love that. It does feel also in line with the theme of what they're going for with theater, in that there is this aspect of once you've kind of got all this connection to an old classic, to something that's been around for so long, how much are you holding back the potential of Rakugo storytelling or whatever is attached to the old classic by making compromises in other areas in order to keep it alive, basically? Like examples of that, the safety, they're talking about the earthquake act, example, and I'm like, oh, that's a very good point.
Right,
it's not a lot of material keeping this thing up as far as like building goes. It's a very wood-centric building there.
It's not one of those like sort of more cliche examples of like we're running short on money, so like we're gonna lose the building kind of a thing, right? It's that no, just times change, and this is something that can't really be avoided. It can be put off maybe for a little bit, but it needs to happen eventually, right?
And I think that's maybe an example of what's going on with Rakugo and our main characters here.
Yes.
Is that there's been a lot of things that have been put off.
Yeah.
And in some ways it's because of the talent and the skill of the main characters that it's been put off.
Yep.
Certain drama, certain aspects of Rakugo changing, certain aspects of just the effects of all these changes happening to the characters.
And just lessons that they need to learn. Yakumo, I'm looking at you.
Well, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of them,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because all these characters are like perfectly broken. It's wonderful.
But Yakumo's definitely put his off the longest because we've known him
he's been
so
around
long.
the longest.
Right, he's been around the longest. Yeah.
What's exciting about where this goes with Yakumo, though, is that if he's localized storytelling-wise, this is something that it's fun to do as a character. Is when you lock a character in a room and you basically tell them they can't leave. Any character that comes into there sets the terms of what happens in the room, basically.
That's very true. Yes.
So there's a lot of cool conversations that can happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool, awkward and painful conversations that can happen.
Because Yakumo can't leave.
Yakumo can't leave.
Yep, because normally what you do is you just, if there's an uncomfortable situation,
your
just
characters
leave,
have a natural movement of water, basically, and they fall to the lowest kind of... the path of least resistance.
Right, and whether the avoidance is social or physical with like deflections versus actually just leaving the conversation. Right. Sure.
The worst Yakumo can do is basically just be like,
I don't want to
look at you now, He has to listen.
But right, he can't go anywhere. So if they want to have some heavy deep in reels that are painful, they can have them there and because
it works the other way as well.
Yes.
It works the other way as well. Given that Yakumo is someone who is elderly, someone who is very much loved and respected by a bunch of people in the main cast, he can basically demand attention when people come into there and go, no, you need to listen to me because I, like my last few words, even if he has maybe like 5 years left or what have you.
Right.
You know, this is an example of him being close to the end. Given that we didn't go back to what was going on with him and his projection of Sukeroku, do you think then that Sukeroku succeeded, that iteration of him, or was that something that we weren't supposed to take as literally? Because I'm actually wondering if because he woke up, if we weren't actually supposed to take it as literally as Sukeroku trying to kill him, but it was more of a thing of, why are you here?
Right,
this is the wrong place for you to be in.
This isn't your time yet. Yeah.
So if anything, he was actually trying to like snap him out of it.
And that's what I think it was. And they could go into that a bit later of more in depth of sort of what was happening for Yakumo. I feel like they don't have to, given the cadence of the show, both with the time skips and everything, and just moving things at a clip pace, and knowing that like there's things that we won't go into the details of because it's not really necessary, and you know what happened. But also just within this episode, it would have felt a bit weird as far as the tension and everything else that was happening if they then spent 5 minutes in an internal conversation with Yakumo and dead Sukeroku, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they went into that later, but they don't have to. But they do have a lot of time left in this season, so like there's they have options.
They have options.
Yeah.
But oh boy, those options.
Yep.
I would say just the fact that our little boy Shinchan is having to deal with all this. I hope that he ends up still okay.
Yep.
But he is kind of the focal point for a lot of the story in the second season so far. So I'm looking forward to having him return back to that a little bit more, given that we went, I would say, more into the Yakumo and stuff that they did with Konatsu and Yotaro. So
we also got a bit of a, and this is really the last thing I want to bring up from the episode.
But, I know what you're going to bring up.
Yeah.
You finally looked my way.
Okay. First off, there's this thing called timing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I understand if there's okay. I don't fully understand because I feel like we don't really know him that well, right? But okay, that's a development. But the fact that he said it then, like, and it wasn't in a way of like to himself kind of a thing, like
not muttered under his breath. Or
he
like, spoke directly to her, made eye contact, and everything.
And I'm glad that she didn't dwell on it, like it was just sort of one of okay. But that is something that is probably going to need to be addressed later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
He brought up another thing about how he went into medical school because he thought it would make, girls kind of fawn over him a little bit, and all he got was the first aid out of this. This is something that I've always found is kind of funny, and it's maybe, if anything, just the aspect of, character designs in anime. But this literally means nothing, I would say, as far as, like, actual story stuff. But he does look like Yakumo was when he was younger, doesn't he?
Oh, sure. Well, I thought you were going to say that he also looks like Shinchan.
Well, I was going to say that, like, if anything, like, this is just a specific look that they've had in the story in the past, and it just looks like it just looks like Yakumo. That bit maybe where Konatsu has specifically ignored him maybe was a little bit like interesting, but the fact that Konatsu just went straight into like, okay, it's business time, let's get things going and stuff, and then she's like, this is our most crucial moment. Yeah. That's awesome. No, if anything, Shinchan, he very much looks like Miyokichi. Like,
right.
Like,
and that's what they're going
trying
for.
to go for.
Well, and also, if you said you finally looked my way, then he's obviously not the father of her child, right? Like,
no, of course
there's just no way. But yeah,
no, but
I gotta say, I mean, a lot of it was a monologue, but just the guy talking about theater. That was, well, it felt like how Hisan talked about new Sukeroku's Rakugo.
Yeah.
It was engrossing. I was there. It's like, yeah, oh man, wow, like, yeah, and that step and oh geez, and I'm pretty sure that this was one of the big theaters that
it's the only one left.
Well, it's the only one.
Rakugo.
Well, right, but it's also one of the big ones that Yakumo and Sukeroku in season 1 would go to and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, this has memories. This has history. Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
I guess the only other big thing we didn't really mention was the fact that there is a Sukeroku live recording, video recording, basically, that we'll get to see at some point in the future because Hisan found it.
Oh man,
I like the way that Hisan has kind of been a drip feed of, hey, I've been studying Rakugo, but not only that, I've been literally studying the past. And given that this whole show is basically 50% the past, you know, with the first season and all that.
And it also makes sense for Hisan to be focused on the past a bit because there were some things that happened in the past with him.
Right.
Yeah.
I am curious, though, like, what are some things that we will gain as, given that the story is one that we've already kind of seen.
Right.
What new things could we get other than obviously the reactions of the characters encountering Sukeroku's video performance? What kind of stuff could we get from that?
I don't know, but I definitely think the reactions of the characters will be a big deal. Yakumo and Konatsu especially.
Also, I would just say Yotaro because he took on the Sukeroku name.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
But yeah. Good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Really good stuff. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. And you can also talk with Jake about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yeah, that's right. Because, you know, if you haven't gotten it yet, what are you doing? Battle Lines, it's my sci-fi novel. It's awesome, and it's on Amazon. Link in the description down below. It's in both ebook and hardback. Go get it.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.